Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner and Central Florida's voice of real estate. Alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, we are giving you your real estate and your mortgage news. And I'm going to jump into some listings real quick. I've got some nice new ones here. I've got 12 acres of land in Mountain Door. It's actually Orange County, right on the line for Orange and Lake County. Growing development area, $750,000 for 12 acres. And county says they could probably build on this, or you could use it for a nursery or build your big estate home on it. And that's $750,000 for that. Nice. I've got a nice one in the overlook at Hamlin. This is the Independence Horizons West area by just north of Disney. $580,000, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2,400 square feet. Tons of upgrades in this house. Too many to list on the air here, but a great house. You've got a 2-car garage, just nothing needed. The owners are downsizing. Stainless steel appliances, granite countertops everywhere. That's $580,000 in Hamlin. Hawks Nest golf community in Metro West, 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, backed up to conservation, $570,000 and 2,400 square feet.
Nice big house on a conservation.
Brazilian cherry floors, 20-foot ceilings, big open floor plan. The master has a triple-sided fireplace in it. It's got a sitting area, tub and shower in the master. I've got commercial property right off of OBT in Clarkona, Ocoee. This is a half-acre property with 2,300 square foot building on it. Plenty of room for storage. $530,000 for that. That is zoned commercial. And then I've got a house in East Orlando, 1 acre. You could have 1 horse. 2,100 square feet for a brand new home, only built in 2022, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, plus a media room.
Still new.
Yeah, very nice inside. And then Sola Vida, 55 plus community for $275,000. I've got that 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on a conservation area. Then we talk about buyers markets, Bruce. This neighborhood's been a buyer's market for the last couple of years.
Which neighborhood is that?
This is Sola Vida.
Yeah.
Like this house is 1,700 square feet. Everything around it is 12 or 1,300. So this is where I had to price it. But there was literally like 30 other homes for sale right near this house in the same subdivision. And I didn't even look at what's above 300. There's another 100 for sale. Wow. So you've got to be priced, plus builders in there, new competition you've got to compete with. So
are they building in that price range in there too?
It depends on the size of the home. They start in the low 3s for
kidding.
A very, very tiny house. There's still people in their building.
Well, when you're retiring, you don't need a lot of home.
Yep. So
really don't.
Call me if you want to take a look at any of those at 407-352-8118, or you need to know what your house is worth to get started on that, or what your house would rent for. I've got some leapfroggers we're helping this month. And, Bruce, or something I wanted to ask.
Well, I'll tell you what, what I've seen lately is my new construction's really picking up.
That's what I want to ask about. New construction.
I was talking to my friends at Trinity Family Builders, Larry Ayala and Allison Stagg and Sandra Call. They have, if you are looking for a nice home and you want to be in the Groveland area that's a little bit away from things, but you can still get into Claremont and even Orlando. I'm out in Groveland. It takes me about 35 minutes to 40 minutes every day to get from Groveland to Winter Park. And so it's not even as far as it seems. But these homes are phenomenal. Like, they'll pay all your closing costs up to 6%, brand new construction. And I'm going to tell you, their attention to detail with this builder is phenomenal. If you would like me to connect you with my friends at Trinity Family Builders, call me now at 407-250-9144. And I've got other builders I met. I'm doing an interview tomorrow on my radio show with a builder that will build on your own lot. So you'll want to tune in tomorrow on the Lone Ranger Show. Breeze Homes, they build on your own lot, and they go all the way from Port Charlotte to Marion County.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere in between.
Okay, good.
And they're building great homes. We're doing construction perms for their clients. So if you want to buy a lot or build on your own lot, Cleve and his team can help you find the lot, and we'll put the whole builder package together for you. Don't think that we can't do it all. We can do everything you need right here in-house. Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118. So, what I'm seeing is tax season. What do you think about tax season? You love it?
I got to sit down. In fact, I got to call my accountant to set up an appointment to sit down with him next week.
I tell you what, it's always gives me anxiety. I don't know why, because I do keep pretty accurate records, but yep. But here's the thing. It's my self-employed buyers. They just don't know how much money they really make. And And it's not a judgment call, but they look at their business and they're like, man, I'm making 500 grand a year. I know, but you're only reporting 27,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I look at that and I say, would you be better off to report more money to qualify for a conventional loan, or leave it the way you're doing it,
Probably
save
saving a lot
the
of
tax
taxes that way.
dollars,
Yeah.
and get a bank statement program?
Yep.
My bank statement programs aren't that much higher than
Yeah.
a traditional mortgage.
Yep.
They really aren't. And yet I'm seeing these self-employed people saving tens, if not hundreds of $1,000s in tax dollars.
But they need to, if they don't, especially if you don't own a house, get into one.
Absolutely.
And what do you need if you're self-employed now? On the bank statement, you're just taking deposits, take half, and then
I take all the deposits. We don't count transfers, because you could manipulate your account by transferring money from one account to another.
Yep.
So we'll take all your deposits, we'll add them up, and I'll give you 50% of that as income.
As income. Okay. So that would definitely work for somebody like that.
Absolutely. So if you're self-employed and you know that you have a creative accountant and the banks have laughed at you and chased you out the door, I won't chase you out the door. Matter of fact, I welcome you.
And now if I am I'm self-employed, usually you average to get a conventional loan, which is going to be the better rate.
Yes.
You average 2 years, correct?
2 years of what your net income or adjusted gross is called.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm saying. You take your corporate returns and you go, I made 500 grand. I paid myself 250, but then I look at your personal returns and where'd all that money go? And now you're only making $27,000 a year. Well, you're not going to get a conventional loan on an $800,000 house. You're probably not going to get a conventional loan on anything with $27,000 a year. However, we don't care. So you always report income. You don't write off everything. You probably could. Your accountant could probably dig deeper and write off more, but you prefer to get conventional loans. I don't even remember if we've had to do a bank statement loan for you.
No, I've never done one.
No,
I learned my first year in real estate. Another good question to ask your realtor if you're interviewing somebody, you pay your taxes on time.
I'll bet they don't. I'll bet you 9 out of 10
their
realtors,
eyes are going to start darting nervously left to right.
On extensions.
Yep. Or do they extend them? Yeah. So I just think it's important people get into that. But before they finalize the tax return, they should call you and see.
Absolutely.
And you say, well, it's not worth it.
Once you filed it, I can't do anything about it.
Yep. You got to wait till next year.
I have a client right now, wonderful client, want to sell and buy. They live out on the coast, and their CPA changed the way they filed their self-employed income from a Schedule C to other, to avoid them paying corporate taxes. Now, that totally screwed the client, because now they can't buy because they don't have that consistent income over a 2-year period.
It's almost like they shut one business down.
I'm having to go back, amend that tax return, file it, pay the taxes that are owed on it, so now they can qualify.
Well, you've got, people should know. I mean, you are like their accountant or their financial planner. Just have that mortgage there sitting. Like if it's in your plan that you might want to move in the next year or two, they should get with you and see. It just takes a minute. Upload the documents, get fast tracked if you can, or go, nope, you're better off bank statement.
Make your application. Let me look at your tax returns. I'll tell you the best course of action, and I'll give you options. But self-employed people, in my opinion, are the heartbeat of America. That's who makes this country turn. And boy, I'm here and I'm committed to making sure that they've got a good program available for them, where banks aren't going to do a bank statement program. Rocket's not doing bank statement programs. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, your credit union, they're not going to do bank statement programs. The Loan Arranger will do a bank statement program and a DSCR for my investors. So DSCR is a debt service coverage ratio loan, and I only use the income from the subject property to qualify. So you gave us a couple of listings a few minutes ago. You got some good stuff. What else you got? You got some crazy reports?
Well, I got articles, and I get this all the time. I go sit with a seller, Bruce, and sometimes if they're doing their due diligence, they might be interviewing a couple realtors. And I get people I tell them, I say, don't tell me the other prices. Don't tell me what you're thinking. I show them the market and I go through it with them. And you'd be surprised when they tell me, well, the other person just asked us what we wanted to get. They didn't show us any data like you just did.
Right.
And I always take the data. It's like you send two appraisers. They're both going to come out with a different value. They should be close, but they're not. They might not use the same 5 homes to value it. They might throw out the high and throw out the low, those kinds of things. They might not know all about the upgrades you put in the home. That's why I get all that detail from a seller when I go into it. I want to know every dollar you spent in the years you've owned it, because there is something in that sometimes. Now, if you put gold-plated plumbing in the walls, it's probably not going to help. But all the things you did, yes. So just all the extras you put in, the things you've renovated, things you've done. You bought 50-year shingles. I sold a house with 50-year shingles. Didn't know that was a thing, but it's 50-year asphalt shingles. They're about a half-inch thick. That helped us getting insurance and helped us getting the home sold. All those things I need to know, because my job as a listing agent is to market that house. And here's the other part on what homes will sell for. You know what your market value is?
Sure.
It's what you walk away from the table with.
Sure.
It's not what somebody says they might give you or somebody talks about, hey, will you take this? It's what you walk away from the table with. Buyer bought it. You've got money in your hand. And that's the market value. But you've got to set that. Now, the other part that will make a big difference is the negotiating. It infuriates me, Bruce, when I sit down with somebody and we're looking at houses in their neighborhood that sold, and there was one listed for $750 and it sold for $700.
Right.
And I'm like, why in the heck didn't they counter back at $735 and change the list price to $739.9 if that offer didn't work out? And it depends. Now, timing, that comes into play too. What was their real estate plan? They saw the house they love. But on the most part, I know what that is. It's a realtor hunting for a paycheck who's just desperate to make a deal.
Anybody that's a real estate agent or any salesperson, including a mortgage lender, if you are guiding people in a direction to put more money in your pocket rather than serve your client's needs, I think that's malpractice.
Yeah, but there's no police to
Of course
do
there's
that.
not.
And what people don't realize, negotiating is not an offer comes in at $650, you're listed for $750, and the realtor goes, oh, meet them in the middle at $700. That's not negotiating.
No.
How many realtors looked at it? How many other homes have sold? Is there a comp that even backs up that price? What's the seller's circumstances? Did the buyer even know what they're going? Is the buyer qualified? Why is the buyer putting that out there? I just had somebody showing a house and now they're telling me, oh, well, the buyer's still trying to get his taxes done. I'm like, why are they in your car?
Right.
You know, unless they're going to do a DSCR. Well, they can't afford it.
And it should have been on the pre-approval that the buyer is not filed taxes and needs to file, because that can take weeks to do that.
And it was not.
I had a realtor showing a client a property the other day that he had no income. He had applied for Social Security and applied for VA pension, but he hadn't gotten either one yet. But he's still out showing property. I'm like, how do you know how much you're going to get? Well, I can estimate.
And I will say, bless his little heart, because hey, he got out and showed the property.
He did go out and show the property.
He did. Okay, he didn't. All right. But I get so many realtors calling me, asking me questions. I had one calling me, asking me about the age of a roof on a house and hot water heater and things like that. And I'm like, this is all available in the seller's disclosure if you read the listing.
It says it in the seller's disclosure.
And then I go, this house is only 9 years old. Why are you asking that?
Right.
And they were speechless because I think they were actually reading a script.
They must
like trying to soften me up before they send me a low offer. And they send a low offer.
Well, a lot of these big real estate companies, I won't say their names, but they just teach their agents all these scripts. And clients see right through that stuff.
No, this was, and it was funny because I gave them a good counter offer. I gave them a couple choices on the counter offer, gave a very reasonable counter offer to them, and crickets. The buyer just disappeared. So anyway,
Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Here we talk about market conditions. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We talk about opportunities. I'm seeing a huge opportunity for buyers in this market right now. You just said there's 7 months worth of inventory. When was the last time? Do you have any data on when the last time we had 7 months?
We'd have to probably go back to like 2010, 11 when the market was flooded with foreclosures.
I think you're right. But that was a different circumstance. Right now, we had an influx of inventory because people are feeling more confident about the economy. And those folks that were sitting on the fence and not listing their property because they didn't want to get out of the 3.5% rate and into a 6.5%. Well,
now they've got enough equity to make
jumping in now.
Yeah, they've got enough equity to make that up because the home prices did keep going despite what Sleepy Joe was doing to us. So, and I've got a chart here, Bruce, I wanted to go into. We got a minute?
No, we really don't.
All right,
when
we come back, we'll dive into
seconds.
this. It's on the median value, how it's climbing every year. But for whatever your real estate plan is, you want to buy, sell, you need help managing your rentals, call Loveland Properties. You'll get a live person on the phone at 407-352-8118. And we'll be right back.
Yep. Or call the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve and I will be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to talk about some strategies.